About a month ago, I read on all the wrestling dirt sheets that WWE would be celebrating their big 20th anniversary of Raw on January 14th, 2012, since Raw debuted back on January 11th, 1993. That's understandable. I was talking with my wrestling friends and whatnot about who they expected to see at the show. I was excited. I was expecting something like Raw 1000, something not as huge as Raw 1000 because they went out of their way to start hyping the 1000th episode of Raw months in advance. I'm talking about months in advance. WWE was hyping up Raw 1000, and it ended up paying off. That was an epic event back in July, the best episode of Raw in 2012. It was a success, a huge success at that. So I was hoping for something similar with the 20th anniversary of Raw. Fast forward a couple weeks, we get no announcement of the show at all until the New Year's Eve episode of Raw on December 31st, 2012. Now, no one was watching that show anyway, so I don't know why WWE felt the need to make the announcement for the big show 2 weeks in advance when they should have made it weeks in advance, months in advance, but even still. So we get to January 7th, and they're still showing this stupid commercial for the show, only about 30 seconds long. It's doing some stuff on the website, and really no real big hype around this event, no huge hype. I know they were mentioning it here and there, but aside from that, they weren't really mentioning it at all. Now, they had, what do they have? They had that commercial. They had all the stars will be shining, or some shit like that. So we fast forward to the 20th anniversary of Raw last night. It was a good Raw. It was a great Raw. Was it a good 20th anniversary of Raw? Fucking no. Absolutely not. Not a chance in hell that was a good anniversary show. Not one fucking return besides Mick Foley and The Rock. And don't give me that shit that they didn't hype them beforehand, because they did. As I just said, in that commercial for the 20th anniversary of Raw that aired weeks in advance, they said the stars will be shining. Go back and watch it. They said some shit like that indicated that former stars will be coming back. On the dirt sheets, it said, and again, the dirt sheets are almost always fucking false anyway, but even still, they said Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Undertaker, and maybe some others, maybe an Evolution reunion would be happening. The Evolution reunion, that was a long shot, but I had my hopes up for a Stone Cold Taker and Shawn Michaels return, especially since all three guys are from the Texas area. Did we see any of those guys at the 20th anniversary of Raw? Absolutely not. It's been since reported that Stone Cold and HBK were at some rifle convention or something like that, some shit like that somewhere else, but couldn't they have announced that before Raw 2000, or the 20th anniversary of Raw, I'm sorry? Couldn't you have hyped that or told that to the fans beforehand so we weren't having our hopes up throughout the entire show? Because I know I wasn't the only one that was waiting throughout 3 hours of television waiting for a return. Rock has been there since last week, so that wasn't a surprise. They hyped his Rock concert last week, and which wasn't bad, by the way. That was a good segment. But again, this was a good Raw, not a good anniversary show at all. Mick Foley was there fucking 3 weeks ago for the Santa Claus shit on Raw, so that's not a big return either. And they announced his Hall of Fame announcement fucking a week ago on WWE.com, so that wasn't a major shocker either. So I don't know why some people are shocked to see him there. Glad he's in the WWE Hall of Fame, just not happy that they spoil it fucking a week beforehand, and WWE.com spoiling all their shit on the website before it fucking airs, and it ruins the surprise for me and many other fans that would like to, that like the element of surprise. So that aside, there were some good elements about last night's Raw, including Wade Barrett beating Orton clean. We had Del Rio's title win feel like a meaningful thing. We had Mr. McMahon there, which was not a very big deal anyway. We had Caitlyn beat Eve for the Divas Championship in her hometown, as I predicted weeks ago, which I thought was pretty cool. And then we had the Rock concert. And then we get to Cena versus Ziggler. Again, all these good things on the show. They were great stuff. Great stuff. Was it anniversary material? Absolutely fucking not. They did not have any of the legend returns as they advertised in that commercial. And I know I was not the only one that was vastly disappointed that this was absolutely nothing like Raw 1000 in the slightest, nor like the 15th anniversary. And we got guys like Eric Bischoff coming back. We had fucking Hulk Hogan. We had this 15-man battle royal where we saw Ted DiBiase pay off IRS to win the battle royal. That also saw the return of Skinner and Scotty 2 Hotty and all those other names that escape me at the moment. Then last night we got a battle royal. Oh yeah, we got a battle royal with Sheamus and the fucking 3M beat, and Heath Slater fucking won. Now I was fine with that. Heath Slater won. That was a shocker. But then Sheamus buried him after the match anyway, so who cares? Not even that. Not even that. This was a good entertainment show as far as Raw goes. Again, not as far as an anniversary show goes, as it's supposed to be historical. But then, if this was supposed to be an ordinary Raw, they did absolutely nothing to hype the Royal Rumble in less than 2 weeks. I know they did the big brawl between Rock and Punk at the end of the show. That was nicely done. They hyped up a few title matches for the event. I understand that. They did a nice job of that. The Royal Rumble match itself was absolutely not hyped at all. Besides the fucking Sheamus 3MB thing, you call that a hype segment? You call that a hype segment? That is fucking garbage. They did a terrible job of hyping that event, and they're so goddamn lucky that that event practically builds itself. It sells itself. With Rock versus Punk, that's the only reason I'm going to be buying if I'm a casual fan. They have Del Rio versus Big Show, which should be a good match. They got the tag team title match, and they have the Royal Rumble match itself, which also should be good. So I'm going to buy the event regardless, but they still need to build this shit up anyway. I don't know. I mean, it's a 20th anniversary show. Come on, WWE. Get your shit together. You had your first show. You had your first Raw of 2013 last week. Extraordinary show. I loved it. Lots of great stuff. You fast forward to this week, absolutely fucking bullshit. You can't bring up one fucking guy. You can't bring in Doink the fucking Clown who was on Raw #1 20 years ago? Come on, WWE. I know it was originally stated a couple weeks back they had returns and numerous returns slated for tonight's Raw mid-card talents, all that shit. Then it was reported shortly thereafter that they completely changed the direction of the show and told many talents that was originally supposed to be at the show not to be there because they completely changed the direction of the show. That's fine. I understand that. If WWE wants to go with that route, I was a bit disappointed when I read that. But then it said we might still get a few big names here and there, including HBK, Stone Cold, and Taker. Again, I understand that HBK and Stone Cold have a life outside of wrestling and they went to this other convention instead. But why didn't you fucking tell us then before the event went off so we weren't pissed? I would not have been as pissed if they told us beforehand that they weren't going to be there. Edge said he had a death in the family. My thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. So he couldn't be there for that. I understand that. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, Edge isn't going to be there. That's fine. We're going to have all these other great returns instead. They were saying how Goldust Paul Bearer might not be there. I'm like, okay, we're going to get all these other big guys instead. We got fucking nothing. We got fucking nothing at all. We got Mick Foley and The Rock. The Rock and Sock Connection was the only big thing of that show. Maybe Jamie Noble and Fit Finley's appearance at the end of the show from the Agents when they were pulling apart Rock from Punk at the conclusion of Raw. But that was fucking it. I mean, come on, WWE. You got to get your fucking shit together. I mean, I know it's no Raw 1000, but at least make a half-assed attempt to make this a memorable show. This wasn't a memorable show at all. Again, with all the highlights, including Barrett beating Orton, the Divas title change, and the Rock concert, I was entertained by all that shit. But then you get Cena versus Ziggler. Cena versus goddamn Dolph Ziggler, a match that we've seen a fucking 100,000 times in the last 4 months. Now, this has been a good feud up to this point. They had Cena beat Ziggler last week. Okay, end the fucking feud there. You don't advertise this steel cage match, a big stipulation in wrestling, just thrown on Raw for no apparent reason at all. You give that away on free television in the main event, aside from the Rock concert. Great match. Same shit as last week. Cena goes over despite interference from Big E Langston and AJ. What the fuck is going on? If this is supposed to be Cena's year, does it really need to be at Ziggler's expense? This guy got pinned by Cena last week. I understand that Ziggler looks strong in defeat. I'm a smart. I admit it. I want Ziggler to beat Cena. We got that at TLC, but they're destroying any momentum that Ziggler had by having him to lose to Cena. Come on, WWE. 2 fucking weeks in a row. Same exact match. You build a little steel fucking wall around it. It's the same fucking match. I don't understand this at all, Raw. I don't understand this at all, WWE. You need to get your shit together. The road to WrestleMania is a few weeks away. We got the Royal Rumble in less than 2 weeks. If you can pull that out of your asses, then I'm completely fine with it. They won't be on your backs anymore. But I'm just saying, if you can pull on a good event for Royal Rumble, I'll be completely content. I'll forget all about this shit. And then, not even that. This Friday night on SmackDown, little known fact for you guys, 700th episode of SmackDown. 700th episode. That's a big fucking milestone. Did they hype it? No. Did they hype it at all? Someone was writing my Bleacher Report article that they hyped it all over the website. I don't know what that moron was looking at. It wasn't hyped once. maybe one sentence at the bottom, a little fucking disclaimer at the bottom of the article on WWE.com. Come on. They have done such a shitty job of hyping this stuff beforehand. They're like, oh, why are we getting fucking low ratings? Well, maybe because you don't hype any shit beforehand. I understand that last week's show got a 3.1. That was a great show. They advertised Rock. They advertised the WWE title match. That's why. This week they advertised what? A Rock concert. Okay. They advertised the Divas title match. Not a big selling point of the show. And they advertised Dr. Shelby. Dr. Shelby. They advertised Dr. Shelby over a steel cage match. Okay, that makes sense. And then you also have Eve, who has been one of the best consistent divas in the last 5 years, especially over the last year with her heel turn, fucking leaving the company. And I mean, that's fine with me. She can leave the company. That's completely fine. She's my favorite diva, but she has a life outside of wrestling. I respect that. But you have her get fired by a WWE exclusive app video? They did the same shit with the Bellas last year when they quit, when their contracts were up, and they decided to opt out of the company. And they had Eve fire them in a backstage video on WWE.com or some shit like that. They basically did the same thing with Eve. Why don't you have her pull a JBL in Houston and have her quit following her matchup? Say, I'm through you fucking people. I'm done with you bitches. I'm leaving the company. I got better shit to attend to. Why did you have her do that on Raw? That would have her garner her major heat for when she comes back. I honestly don't know what they did with the 20th anniversary of Raw. I have no idea at all. But, you know, that's just typical WWE for you. I mean, I thought they were off to a good foot last week. And, but I guess not. This show, it was really disappointing. And, I mean, if it was a regular Raw, I would have been ecstatic. I would have loved the show. But the fact is, it wasn't. It was the 20th anniversary, one of the biggest milestones in recent memory, aside from the 1000th episode, which was an epic event. And after that show, if that show didn't happen, maybe I wouldn't have been as disappointed for this show. But it didn't have any returns at all. I was pissed. I mean, we're all left waiting at the edge of our seats by the end of the show, waiting for Stone Cold, for glass to shatter, for the lights to go off for Taker, something. They didn't get anything at all. So hopefully they continue to do well with the road to WrestleMania coming up. I mean, I'd be pissed if they drop the ball on everything coming up as well, but there is no chance in hell that they can drop the ball on fucking Punk and Rock, which should be a great match come the Royal Rumble. So with all that being said, you know, again, hopefully you guys enjoy the show. I know I sure as hell didn't, but even still, again, hopefully WWE can right their wrongs and we get some sort of, some good shit coming in the next few weeks as we quickly approach the road to WrestleMania. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And as always, the comments and likes should be open at this point in time, so make sure to check that shit out. Make sure to subscribe. And make sure to check out all my shit on Twitter at @SAVE_GSM. And one more thing as well. I'm almost always positive when it comes to wrestling. I almost love everything that WWE and TNA do. And when I shit on something, it must be really bad. And I'm telling you, it was that bad for me to complain about it. I don't want to come off as a typical smart with people screaming into their videos, but I'm sorry, this was an exception. And you better expect more of these videos going forward with the title of this show being WrestleRant if WWE continues to pull this shit on us. So again, thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the road to WrestleMania as much as I do. This is GSM signing out. Till next time, guys.